like and subscribe. What life lesson did you learn that you will never forget, and when did you learn it? My dad taught me as a teenager that relationships should be easy. Biggest and best lesson I've ever learned. Relationships should not be filled with drama, but with friendship and respect. Really helped me choose who to be with. Now I teach my daughters the same thing so maybe they can prevent being in a painful relationship. If you're right but you're obnoxious about it, people won't see you as the good guy. Took me until the end of grad school to figure that one out. My best friend passed away a few years ago, and I learned 2 life lessons. 1. Never keep people in your life if they don't love and respect you as much as you do them. 2. Never take for granted the time you spend with the people you keep. It could be over any day. You don't like everybody, so don't worry about everybody liking you. Of course, be respectful to everyone you meet. But don't bend over backwards to please all of them. You don't ever truly know another person. Unless you can take up residence in their head, you'll never be privy to their true nature. Learned this through the process of growing up and losing friends/SOS. It's not always malicious. Sometimes you latch onto the idea of a person rather than who they are. It'll eventually drive you apart as you realize that there is incongruity between who they are and who you think they are. Learn to pick your battles wisely. Some things just are not worth fighting. Some people, most people, have families who love them and support them. But some people don't, and they don't know that it's terrible because it's just normal for them. It took me 32 years of life, 4 years working with severely traumatized children and 2 years of therapy to realize that I too was traumatized from day one. Not everybody who speaks in a pleasant way to you is your friend. Don't say dumb on the internet. Still working on it. You'll never be able to please everyone, so don't make your life revolve around being accepted by everyone. You can delegate authority, you can't delegate responsibility. Been a mantra my mom has spoken since I was a kid. Everyone is facing a battle you know nothing about. One time I got a flat tire, and it was raining. I kept turning right to remove the tire and a guy on a bike stopped and just said lefty loosey righty tighty and just left. I never forgot it. It's not life changing, but it has helped me out in life. It is better to be alone than to be surrounded by those that hate you. Lesson I learned, though I would rather ignore it, but it might help someone else. Donna had become a walking charity. When I was in my early to mid-20s, I had a lot of friends who were falling on hard times or needed various types of help. And I was only too happy to help. I had the money, I had the time, I would do anything for them. Not one of them repaid, financially or otherwise. Instead, I was just taken advantage of, left, right and center. It all ended when I suggested a friend of mine who broke up with their partner and had no place to live come stay with me. Next thing I knew, they were inviting their friends over all the time, often without my permission. They were not contributing a penny to the income of the household. Their new partner soon moved in, and my house basically became a DOS house. And they became a mean-spirited, emotionally abusive arsehole who made my life miserable in my own home. Now, I offer advice only. If you need financial support, you can go to the council. If you need housing, you can go to the council. If you want me to provide either of those things, you can. Off. When I was about 9 years old, I used to bully a lad in my class. I felt like a tough guy because he was bigger than me. I bullied him because he came from a poor family, but I'd always had a wealthy family. Until I was around 9 years old. My dad's alcoholism escalated and cost him his job and destroyed our family. I bullied that lad out of anger because of what I was going through, and then one day he beat the out of me. Our head teacher, principal, made us sit outside his office for a whole day together, just the two of us. I quickly realized how much I upset him, and we became friends. Not everyone at work is, and wants to be your friend. Some just pretend and then you over. Learned that doing my apprenticeship, and found the same in almost every other company I worked for so far. People treating you poorly is a reflection on them, not you. My brother taught me this after I got dumped when I was 16 and my best friend banged my ex the next day. I was 21 when I learned that just because you have been friends with someone a long time does not mean you are obligated to stay friends with them forever. If you are at the point where you dread being around them, leave. No amount of history is worth your peace. You cannot fix another person, no matter how long you stay with them. They have to want to treat you better, and want to be better themselves. And going back to them only makes them think you'll stay, no matter what they do to you. Prove them wrong. Edit. Thank you for the awards. Lesson learned. Do not step on random wood scraps during a renovation or you will end up with a nail in your foot. Date learned 3 hours ago. Most PR planners' moral integrity is not nearly as bulletproof as they believe it is. And often, through no fault of their own. We all have certain vulnerabilities that can make us do or say things we had previously thought were below us. Whether it be trauma, desperation or loneliness, etc. Somehow my parents imparted to me life was a pie. If somebody got some, I got less. That if I wasn't doing something impressive, or winning at something, I was failing. I thought the way to be valuable, and get people to like me was to achieve more, prove how smart I was, and one-up them. You can imagine how that goes over. When people predictably didn't like that, I thought it was because I wasn't achieving enough, or seeming smart or talented enough, so I'd get even worse. It's hard to undo such an ingrained mindset and to admit shortcomings and share vulnerability, but the gradual life lesson has been not to try to impress people, not to be ashamed of your true imperfect self, but to listen to people, share with them, and be open, honest, and vulnerable. Edit to add, not a zero-sum game about physical or material things, more like attention and emotional things. My parents certainly never actually literally told me that either. It's just some weird translation my brain did somehow. Time is the most valuable resource on the planet. That my mental illness/disorder is not my fault. But it is my responsibility to maintain. Always make time for loved ones. Time is not on your side. I learned this too late, after my grandma died. I was always working or studying, and said next week I'm going to visit grandma. Next week I'll give her a call. Next work vertical bar. I saw her at the family gatherings like birthdays and such, if I was able to make them, but that is still different than going by her house, and spend time together. The moment I did that it was nice, and we laughed so there was not a reason to not visit grandma. Always sweet and, even when I was in the 30s she gave me a bag of candy when I left. One year I was too busy, read selfish, and had not visited for months. I was not aware it has been months, that was after I checked how long ago it was. September was the last visit, and in December she passed away. I could not make time for 3 months. Not a single day I could spare a few hours to visit course career and I'll go next week. This is more than 10 years ago and it still haunts me at times. She was always understanding, and be like yeah I know you youngsters are busy, and need to work hard and don't have it as easy as we, even though she went through World War II, and needed to walk 2 provinces for forward vertical bar she considered that they had the easy life. I always thought I had enough time, when I was done with insert something here. But always something else turned up. Next week I'll go, was the worst thing I had told myself, and I wished I spent way more time with grandma. It made me change everything. I now only work 3 days a week, and spend the rest of the time on my family and friends. Make sure to give regular calls, and make sure I can be at whatever is needed. Sure, working 5 days a week, and having more money for fun is nice, but a bigger car or a bigger house or another vacation does not bring back time. Do I need a Range Rover 4x4 that costs 8 times the price of a Ford Fiesta? No. Do I need a house with 8 bedrooms? No. Do I need time? Yes. Time is all I wanted. Time is what we get in limited quantity. You can try and make changes in spending less or make more money, but you cannot make more time. There is 24 hours in a day. Spend them wisely, and on it think others have the same time left as you. The biggest lie I told myself was that I did not have the time. I had the time. I just managed it badly. My grandma was 89, so she was on borrowed time, but it could as well be my wife who I take out for dinner next week, but gets ill or an accident. You don't know what it is you have until it is gone. Edit. Wow, thanks for the awards and all the nice replies. Even though I changed my life, I went to bed pretty sad after I wrote this, but this lifted my spirit. Happy it helps some of you, and hope you all get to spend the time you want. When I was in high school, my mom and I took a day to go church shopping in a new part of town. We must have gone to 5 services that day. Some were fun and lively, some were quiet and reserved. But one in particular really stuck out to me for being so vertical bar cookie. It was October, and the preacher was starting his sermon to the room of 40 people with Halloween is right around the corner. Who here celebrates Halloween? I was *THE only PERSON* to raise my hand. The preacher goes, good. Because Halloween is celebrating the devil, and we don't do that here. At this point, I quickly drop my hand as people give me weird looks. My mom then goes, by the way, it is not a good idea to volunteer information to a group of people you don't know. I learned that I need to wait until I understand at least the basic dynamics of a group before sharing anything about myself. In these cases especially, it is better to be quiet and anonymous than to stand out and be a target. We never ended up going back to any of the churches we saw that day, though. Don't hang on to your mistakes just because you spent a lot of time making them. Time invested is a myth. Outside of my family, there is a very small portion of people who truly care for me and think about me without being prompted to. I was doing forced landing practice in the training area in a Cessna 152 Aerobat with my instructor. On the way back to land, he asked me this question. What will you do if the engine catches fire? I looked at him and said, jump out. He said, no, you just control the plane. You're the plane to get the fire away from the pit and just keep flying. You forget about the fire and do what is within your control. I looked at him, stunned, and said, that's I'm profound, Steve. I promptly took that advice and applied it to every aspect of my life. Don't worry about things that are outside your control. The world is not changed by your opinion, it is changed by your example. A shoe that pinches will always hurt you. Essentially meaning don't revisit past relationships. You can be the most competent, hardest working, most dedicated employee in a company, but the promotions are most likely to go to the people who have made a personal connection with the boss. I learned that at my first job, and it has been true ever since. It is why I'll never homeschool my kids so I could give them a much better academic background, but the interpersonal skills they develop in school will benefit them more. If you do not ask, you do not get. Worked as an admin for salespeople and OMG did they get over on people. Demanded things from everyone that they had no right to a vertical bar. But they usually got what they wanted. I learned to say no to them and stick to it. And I learned to make my own demands. Sometimes I got what I wanted and sometimes I did not. But I never received anything I wanted but did not ask for. Does that make sense? Always ask. You just might get it. Relationships are like a fart. If you have to force it, it's probably. Use the library for everything you can. Textbooks, movies, games, music. I hope all these would help. *r/frugal. *r/discounted products. *r/freebies. *r/freebies. Asterisk r/poverty finance. Asterisk r/lowest presidials. Asterisk budget bytes. Com. Asterisk seb gives free access to download almost any paper. Asterisk libgen, download almost any textbook as e-copy. Asterisk https, archive.org/a huge library online free. Asterisk free Harvard lectures available online. To not care what other people thought of me and my life choices. I learned this when I divorced my abusive husband. So many people in my life at the time thought I was so wrong for getting divorced. However, they weren't the one living with a control freak and walking on eggshells to avoid getting beat and then getting beat anyway. None of those people are in my life anymore and haven't been since my divorce. Never refuse when someone offers you a breath mint. My grandfather after I declined a breath mint from him. It is okay not to like everyone. Growing up, I was always told I should be friends with everyone, even people who drove me crazy with their drama. While I try to be kind and considerate to people, I have learned it is okay not to like someone. I don't have to be their friend. Don't sit in the first row of a horse-drawn carriage. Horse farts are no joke. Not even trying to be funny, we thought we were going to pass out. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.